Rajdeep, we followed Parliament very closely. Clearly, with the kind of numbers the opposition has this time, there's something which has changed. What do you make of it? Because at one side, the opposition is calling it robust. Those who side with the opposition are saying that this is what numbers do. On the other hand, the BJP and those who side with the government are saying this is a rowdy opposition, robust or rowdy.
Thanks very much, Preeti. We're, just about a month since the Lok Sabha election verdict came out. And I think both sides, in a way, have slightly misread the verdict. If you look at the Treasury benches, you get a sense that they believe that they've got this third big victory, almost as if they've reached 400 par. When the truth of the matter is the largest party, the BJP, is 240 and is dependent on allies to form a government. On the other hand, the opposition, the Congress has got 99 and the opposition or the India alliance has got 234. But at times you get a sense that that alliance is acting as if they've got 272 and the majority. So I think both sides have to some extent misinterpreted the verdict, which I believe was for greater humility, for more consensus building, to reach out to each other. And I think the primary responsibility is that of the Treasury benches here, Preeti, because remember, Parliament functions when the government really makes the effort to get it to function. The opposition will be there to confront the government. It is for the government to reach out across the aisle, and we really haven't seen that, whether it was the Speaker's election, whether it was the whole Deputy Speaker's election, and now this response to the President's address, walkouts, heckling. None of it really edifies Parliament. So I think it's for the government to make a serious effort, which they haven't so far, to reach out to the opposition, and then for the opposition to meet them more than halfway, because tali do haath se bachti hai.
But Rajdeep, other than just, of course, the government, the Treasury benches coming in and making the House function, don't you also reckon that both need to even out a little? Because it seems either sides are not used to what's really taking place in Parliament. At one end, you have, Treasury bench, which hasn't quite seen opposition this belligerent, this robust. On the other hand, the opposition also now coming in with larger numbers, taking that for granted.
Well, I think my worry is that we are entering a phase of extremely polarized politics, where each side simply doesn't recognize the other as a worthy opponent. And it's the personalization of politics, where each party treats the other as an enemy. Not a rival, but an enemy, which has to be finished, which has to be destroyed, which has to be in some way undermined, delegitimized. That's what we are seeing. You've got Rahul Gandhi targeting the Prime Minister, questioning whether he's a non-biological leader, in a way questioning his Hinduism, you could argue. And you've got the Prime Minister who accuses Rahul Gandhi of being Balak Buddhi. So you've got two leaders of either side who simply are unwilling to sit across the table and have a reasoned, rational discussion. And sadly, Preeti, the truth is, when Prime Minister Modi was Chief Minister in Gujarat and now as Prime Minister here, he's never really made that effort to reach out to the other side. There have been suspensions in Gujarat Assembly, and we've seen suspensions in the previous Lok Sabha. So I fear the worst. I fear both sides becoming even more confrontational and even more embittered towards each other.
Stay with us, Rajdeep, because also, viewers, to give you an understanding, this is the first time that the Prime Minister or the BJP or the Treasury benches in the last 10 years have seen the kind of numbers of the opposition on the other side. And that's why we see what we see right now. But J.B. Mathur, you were in Rajya Sabha, you're an MP from the Congress. What really went down? Because many would say this was highly unruly and insult of the Parliament, insult of democracy. The BJP is also accusing you of the same. While the Prime Minister is speaking, you don't allow him to speak, and then you stage a walkout.
Preeti, rule has to be the same rule for everyone. We cannot have a separate rule book for the opposition and another rule book for the government or the Prime Minister. What we witnessed today in Rajya Sabha, you can see the video of the Rajya Sabha, all the entire opposition, whether it's Congress or India Alliance, every single person and party was carefully listening, very silent and listening to what the Prime Minister of India is speaking. But after a point, when Prime Minister started speaking which is wrong, which is false, which are lies, the leader of opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge ji, intervened and sought the chair's permission to speak, and that's quite acceptable, that's quite allowed, and but that point of time, there's absolutely no response. We are not allowed. See, you should understand, Mallikarjun Kharge ji is a opposition leader, a very senior leader, very senior parliamentarian. If he has to intervene and if he has to say, it should be allowed. But dignity of the opposition leaders post itself is at stake. And there was, and it was not just Congress, entire opposition stood up in one voice and requested, and Mallikarjun Kharge ji himself, not once, twice, thrice, repeatedly requested, and even requested to the Prime Minister also to give 1 minute. But they were not willing to give even that single minute for a clarification. And what was the clarification? Why clarification? Clarification was required at that point of time itself, because the Prime Minister was raising or making all kinds of allegations that it is we who are against the constitution, it is they who are the protectors of constitution, which is not true. We have to look at history. The Mallikarjun Kharge ji had the organizer, had the book in hand, and he wanted to explain it. When the history has shown that has shown that it is the organizer which way back in 1950 very categorically stated that this constitution is not what we should be having, and this constitution has nothing Indian about it, and we should have Manusmriti in it. That was so critical of this constitution and against it, whereas Baba Saheb Ambedkar himself has said that he was surprised, and he is surprised that in spite of others being there, very seniors being there, well-known people being there, he is made the chairman of the drafting committee, and it is the greatness of Congress party. So who is against constitution? Who was against constitution? Who
All right,
was
Mr. JP Mathur, I'll come to you.
Who was speaking against constitution?
Ms. Mithar, I'll come back to you. Let's limit it right now to what really went down in Parliament, because the BJP as well as the Treasury benches, even the Prime Minister on the floor of the Rajya Sabha has said that you run away and you're insulting the Parliament and insulting the Constitution in your conduct where Parliament was concerned. But RP Singh, with what Ms. Mithar has also just said, there is credence to that. Let's look at the speech of the LOP Lok Sabha, which happened 2 days ago with Rahul Gandhi. When he spoke, he was interjected and allowed to be interjected by the Prime Minister, twice by the Home Minister, once by the Defence Minister, once by the Agriculture Minister. They all got up and interjected, and Rahul Gandhi carried on with his speech. On the other account, the same privilege was not accorded in Rajya Sabha to the leader of opposition.
Preeti, I'll appreciate you will give me ample time, because you have two Congress spokesperson, Rajdeep Sardesai and the spokesperson of the Congress party
Let's steer clear of... No. Okay, 1 second.
I mean, the way
RP Singh, let's steer clear of any personal attacks. Let's not... Sir, focus on what the...
Clear. I generally don't do that, but the way Rajdeep today fielded for Congress is... it's very clear that he is extended arm of the Congress party now. But coming to the issue...
So you're a BJP spokesperson. Leave alone the job of everybody else. Focus on that, sir. Please answer the question.
No, it's because he did so. So I'm forced to say, and just within my right also, and come to the issue. Now, talking about when the speech happens, it's up to the speaker to yield or not to yield. There's a parliamentary procedure. So if PM is not yielding, and LOP has got a chance to speak earlier, and now PM is answering, so he has a right to answer. And what did they did yesterday when PM was speaking in the parliament? They created ruckus in the Lok Sabha. They were shouting slogans. They came to the well, and then who was instigating them? I mean, we have seen it. There are videos on record where we have seen Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition, instigating his member of parliament not to allow the Prime Minister to speak. And then you're talking about that, oh, we don't want to yield, we don't want to take a step ahead. And as far Rajdeep, as far speakers go, they made a choice. They fielded a Dalit, whom they knew that they were going to lose. They fielded Dalit, Mr. K. Suresh, as a candidate, although they knew that. And that even while walking in the parliament, I remember Mr. Kharge said, we are going to contest election, we are surely going to win the election. But when they came to know that they are people within their India alliance who are not going to vote for them or who are going to vote for the NDA speaker, Mr. Om Birla. So they walked out and they went for the voice vote. And even then they didn't walk out. They went for the voice vote. They could have said, we are walking out. Sorry, we don't want our speaker to contest. That is the way out. That was an honorable way. But they contested. But coming to the democratic process in this country, and which Prime Minister has withheld the democratic process. The lady was talking about organizer of 1950 or some 50 years back. Let me remind you, 1951, it was the Pandit Nehruji as the first Prime Minister who altered the course of the constitution and curbed the freedom of speech. It was Mrs. Gandhi who brought emergency and altered the complete constitution to the extent she altered the preamble of the constitution. It was Mr. Rajiv Gandhi who wanted to introduce postal bill. Thanks to Gyani Jail Singh that he couldn't do that, but he altered the Shabano case. I mean, we remember who misused the power of the parliament and altered the decision of the court as per the norms of the Muslim tenants. But coming to the later part, who used to run the parliament? Who used to run the government? I mean, government was not run by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh from the PMO. It was run by 10 Janpath. We all knew that. Every file used to there are documents or there are people who in their books have said on record that every file used to go to 10 Janpath. Not here, give me a second. And later on, we remember that who told the bill which was passed by the cabinet outside in a press conference, Rahul Gandhi. So they have a long history of tweaking with the constitution and then throwing the democracy in the dustbin.